Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming for our announcement today. We are going to start our program. At first, I'd like to introduce to you the Chancellor of UNO, Dr. Jeff Gold.
Well, thanks so much for the opportunity to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Today's a very special day, and it is really very important to me to spend just a few minutes to commemorate the occasion. First and foremost, to do just that, extend a very warm Maverick welcome to all of you, but to tell you how much we appreciate the opportunity for this transition. It's a bittersweet moment for UNO, of course. This program is just on an incredible momentum, an upward curve, just continues to grow in many different ways. And today we celebrate the success and the transition, and we also begin to celebrate the beginning of the next page in the history. You know, I was just talking to our esteemed athletic director, Trev, and as he said to me, the most important thing is to maintain the momentum. And I am 100% confident, having met the coach, that we will at least maintain the momentum and continue to grow that momentum. I learned just a few minutes ago that the coach and I share a very important factor, and that is we both have grandchildren in Oakland, California. I know the airplane schedules serve very well by this point. I'd be very pleased to share them, and if there's anything that I can do in that direction, I'd be very pleased to. A very wise person once told me that grandchildren are God's gift for raising your own children. For those of you that are old enough to know what I'm talking about, there's a lot of truth to that. I'd also like to do one other thing and just congratulate the team and the staff that supports the team. I know firsthand how hard you folks work. Being a student athlete is an awful lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of focus, a lot of vision on the part of the coaches and the trainers and the people that make the program successful. And I just want to personally thank you and let you know how proud we are of you and how proud I am of you. So thank you very much. And with that, it's a great pleasure to introduce our athletic director, Trev Alberts. Of course, Trev needs no introduction. He is just a phenomenal leader and a great friend. Trev, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gold, and thank you all for being here. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Gold is has a somewhat ambitious schedule. So he's the chancellor both at the Med Center at and at UNO. So the fact that Dr. Gold would take the time to come here and be with us here today, it really means a lot to me personally, and I know it means a lot to our student athletes. So thank you, Dr. Gold. We also have several members of UNO's faculty and deans. I want to thank you for being here as well. Appreciate the support that we have from our campus. Well, as Dr. Gold said, this is a bittersweet moment, and certainly it is for me. Bittersweet in the sense, bitter in the fact that Coach Mims is leaving us after 7 years. We'll get into a little bit some of the accomplishments that Coach Mims has had, and we'll hear from Coach Mims, but also a day of great excitement. The fact that Bob Warming is going to be the second head coach of Mavericks soccer is really exciting to me, and so a bittersweet moment. Well, Jason Mims, I remember those days in 2011. They were difficult, as most of you remember, or some of you do. And Jason Mims had 3 months to create a program. We didn't have any players, none. And we were going to compete in 3 months. And we handed the job. Mike Kemp and I went out and found a coach named Jason Mims, and this guy had some passion. And he had some grit, and he had a work ethic that was second to none. I remember early on in his tenure, he said, I'm really having a hard time, Trev. He said, I know we're going to lose, okay? We're going to lose a lot of games. But what I'm concerned about is that I personally and our players never get to the point where we start accepting losing. We can't do that, and that scares me. And I knew right then, with that perspective, that our soccer program was in great shape. I also appreciated Jason's work in the community. One of the things that we've talked very openly about as an athletic department is we were going to be integrated into our campus and we were going to serve this community. And Jason Mims took this men's soccer program and got involved in the community. The Omaha South Classic, I think, is one of the best things that we do. Coach, thank you for doing that. Thank you for understanding how important the Omaha community is to this athletic department and to UNO in general. And then the first program in Division I history to earn an NCAA bid. You guys did that. Jason Mims and our men's soccer program debunked every theory about UNO not being able to compete at the highest level. Men's soccer did that. 7 years we were competing at the NCAA tournament. We didn't even have a program in 2011. We've always believed, and we continue to believe, that the athletic department at UNO, in terms of its potential, is limitless. And I think Jason Mims and our soccer program has proved that. So please join me in welcoming, I can't believe I'm saying this, the former head coach of the UNO men's soccer program, Jason Mims.
Guys, you've never stood like that before for me. You wait till I leave, and now you stand. Perfect. Dr. Gold, we appreciate his time. For those of you guys that don't know or do know, he's doing double duty running the Med Center and our UNO as well, and so I appreciate the time to get out here, Dr. Gold, and obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in healthcare always and how important that is, but I hope that you see that how important athletics can be to a university with this, and just ask Loyola Chicago how important athletics are to a university. So we appreciate the support, Dr. Gold, and continued support. So thank you very much for that. Trev mentioned I had 3 months to start a team. He actually was wrong. We had 2 months to start a team. All right, and yeah, and it was interesting when I met Trev on our visit. I found out how I knew Trev was competitive by obviously just looking at his career and looking at his accomplishments at Nebraska, but I got to see a couple things on my visit to see what he's really like, and one of them was I thought I was starting the job, and had 1 year to recruit, so it would be the following 2012, and when Trev told me, no, it's 2011, is that a problem? I kind of looked at his eyes and saw his face, and I realized who the guy I'm going to work for, but I respected that and said, nope, no problem at all, we got it. So, but without John Christensen, Trev, Mike Kemp, I wouldn't be here, and so I thank those guys for believing in me. It's not always to believe in a coach and bring someone here, especially when you're starting a program, and I know the challenges that Trev, I can't say I know him, but what Trev went through with some difficult decisions that he made about some different sports and for the challenges the athletic department had, and Trev had to come in and make some decisions. And we're not football, we're not wrestling, but I think that we've done a pretty good job in the community and the university to at least relieve some of that pressure that I'm sure I can't imagine some of the people went through here. So. Again, Trev, thank you so much for believing in our program. Former players. It's funny saying that because we don't have many, being around 6.5 years, 7 years, but to the former players, current players, all right, thank you guys. I see some of them sitting here. There was, I think, 5 guys that we had that actually came in the first year and made it all 4 years. 5. All right, Vance Rookwood, Joe Marinkovich, Josh Christensen. Where are you guys? I see right there, those guys. We got Jordan Gailey, and is he Jordan here? No. All right, and we can count Craig as that, and then I saw Logan Mendez, who works in our department now, so we can say 5, maybe 6 guys that went through everything that I went through those first 4 years. So thank you guys, because you guys that are here right now probably wouldn't be here if those guys didn't go through it. Thank you guys for not leaving, for not quitting, for not transferring. That was super important to our program, and thank you guys for that. All right. Staff. All right. I've had a lot of staff. Trev's made some changes in the last 7 years. Sports information directors, video guys, trainers, advisors, academic advisors, compliance, assistant coaches. We've had a lot of staff that I've worked with, and I want to thank all of them. And I think I just mentioned all of Coach Tim Walters' roles his first couple years. So Timmy, thank you so much for going through this process with us. The community donors, thank you guys. Look around. It probably goes without saying how much the community cares about this program. I see a couple donors in here. I'm not going to go through the list, but I know Tom McNeil's an important one for us to keep our program going, and so we're going to recognize Tom here. But thank you guys for all the support. All right. Lastly, when I talked to Trev about this opportunity, and I told him it was the hardest professional decision in my life, it was very difficult, and he, was wondering why. And I go back to a conversation with the Scott family, and obviously they're super important to our success here in the athletic department. We want to thank them. But David had asked me, what drives you? Because I was struggling with some of these decisions that we were fortunate to have some opportunities through other universities, different jobs that were approaching us. And, David asked me, what drives you? What do you want, out of, your job? And, that was a hard question for me, and especially when a guy that successful is asking you that in front of your boss. And so what I realized was, I wanted UNO soccer to be relevant. Everybody wants to win. The guy that you're going to meet in a couple minutes, he wants to win more than anybody. And that's what I love about him. But everyone, you hope, every great coach is very competitive and wants to win. But my biggest, fear was that UNO soccer was not going to be relevant if I left. And that was hard for me. And that's what I told, Trev, is like, I want to make sure UNO soccer 3 years from now is not only relevant, but it's so much better because we've left it in a better place. And so, this is not about me. Trev asked me to come up here. I thought it was a bit strange because this should be about a new era and new staff. It gives me a chance to thank a lot of people, and I'm sure I've missed some people, but thank you. But I think that's the big thing for me is that I know, and I've told our guys this, that you guys will be relevant. Next fall, the following fall, the next fall, you got a great person looking after you guys. He's looked after me for 20 years, so he's going to look after you guys, I promise you. All right? Thanks, Trev.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. It is a little bit odd that the former head coach would be at the press conference and speak for the new head coach, but that's the way we do things here. We're Mavericks. We do things a little bit differently, don't we? I just thought it was important to have an opportunity to lift up Jason Mims and what he's done for this program, and I know that Bob certainly appreciates him as well. But we are so thrilled. One of the things that Jason and I talked about, he talked about being relevant. I talked to Dr. Gold about finding a way to maintain the momentum. In sports, it doesn't matter what you're doing. A lot of people talk about momentum in football. That's what I can identify with. Momentum is so hard to get, but once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. And right now in this program, we have momentum. And so the chief concern for me was how do we find a transition timeline and time frame and person who can maintain the momentum for us. I can't imagine announcing the next head coach and his wife Cindy as a better example of momentum for us than having Bob Warming be the second head coach in Maverick soccer. I'm not going to go through his resume because we'd be here for about 2 days. A two-time National Coach of the Year, an unbelievable resume. But most importantly, two things that I saw was a competitive fire that's still there. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with Bob. We both like the same thing, and that's called winning. But also because of what Bob has done in this community. I don't know that anybody understands the importance of community than Bob Warming. And so being able to take what Jason Mims has done in this community with our soccer program, take it to the next level, continue the momentum, I'm really excited about. And so I want to personally thank Coach Warming and his wife Cindy for believing in UNO, taking on this challenge, and I'd ask that you join me in welcoming Bob Warming.
I'm proud to be a Maverick. I'll tell you that. I'm really proud to be a Maverick, and I'm proud to be a member of this team. I say I'm a member because each one of us in this room have a role to play in the team. And I know what my role is. It's similar to the other assistant coaches on the team and the strength coach. We're all trying to help student athletes improve and get the best experience they can possibly get out of being a Maverick. It's the same thing with Tom McNeil and the supporters and the other coaches and everybody that surround this program. We all have a role. And I'm thrilled to be working for men who value UNO soccer. I'm thrilled to be working for Dr. Gold. It's amazing what he's accomplishing here in Omaha. I'm thrilled to be working for this guy over here. Number 34, when I started another program here in Omaha in 1990, was our biggest competition. People used to come to our soccer games and be cheering at an inappropriate time, and I realized it was because they were listening to the Husker football game at the time and cheering when Trev would make a sack or something would happen. In this community at that time, kids who played soccer were wearing number 34 as their soccer jersey, and 65, and some of these other numbers, and I couldn't believe it. I said, we need role models of our collegiate athletes that they're going to want to wear 7 and 11 and 10 and 9, like the players in this community. We need to be inspirational, and we need to be aspirational to the young men in this community. And Jay has done it. We have 6 guys on this team from Omaha, and we're going to have more. We're going to have more. He's done an unbelievable job of identifying the best players in this city and making sure that they play at UNO. And we're going to continue to do that. So Jason is the other guy I have to thank, because he has, as he alluded to, been my friend since 1997. He played for me, he coached with me, all the way up until the time he came here. We had never been apart. He lived with us, with Cindy and I. And I can tell you that of all Jason's qualities, being a roommate is not one of his best ones. I'm a light sleeper, and I don't sleep a lot. Jason never sleeps. He loves chips and salsa at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, banging and clanging around in the kitchen. And so eventually I would just come out of the bedroom and just eat with him in the middle of the night, and we'd talk about soccer and talk about life. But we've just been doggone close for so long and have not missed a week talking to each other since 1997. So before I actually came and watched you guys play live for the first time, when I flew out for the day to watch you win the first conference championship and then flew back to my job, before that, I knew you, I'd watched you on the internet, and I'd heard your recruiting stories from the day Jay started recruiting you. I was all in with you guys, emotionally invested with you guys before this ever started, before today. And we're just going to grow that relationship and investment from here on out. I moved here not to take this job. I moved here for this little girl down here at the end, Willa Jo, who was our first granddaughter. I came out in October and held her for the first time and instantly got at peace with the idea of retiring. I just couldn't stand couldn't stand the thought of watching her grow up from a distance. So even though I'd signed a long-term contract in January of last year, I went and told my boss, I said, I'm done. I'm done. Family's more important. So ironically, my wife was doing all the house hunting, and she ended up and found a house in a place that we'd never even driven through. We had lived in District 66 when we were here before. She was looking there, and she said, I've seen this house. I'm going to go take a look at it. And when she walked in the house, she said, there's something special about this place. We've got to live here. I said, okay, buy the house. I had no idea what it was. I hadn't seen it, whatever. And it turned out it's half a mile from campus, 7/10 of a mile from the field. And I think that there's a little divine intervention here about why I'm here. So anyway, with that said, this day, I've talked more than I intended, but I want you to know how much I value the role that everyone in this room has played in developing Omaha soccer to this point, the role that the supporters have played, the students have played, the players have played, the staff have played, that the administration have played in getting us to this spot in the road on the journey. And I'm telling you, I'm going to put the pedal to the metal, and we're going to go faster than we've ever been. But it's all in tribute to Jay Mims for doing that. So let's thank Jay one more time for what he's done. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach. Well, this athletic director job's not all that hard. I guess all I have to do is make sure she doesn't move from Omaha, right? At the end of the day. So, well, we're about done. I just would like to also thank, obviously I'm here, Dr. Gold's here, but there's a lot of folks behind the scenes that work really hard. We have sport administrators that work with all of our programs. Mike Kemp is a sport administrator for our soccer programs. I want to thank Mike, Dave Allers, of course, all the folks in social media, our team. Thanks for pulling this together. And most importantly, I want to thank the players. I want to thank you guys for trusting us. We're going to continue working as hard as we can to serve you the best that we possibly can. So that'll conclude our press conference. Our players, coaches, and staff will be available for one-on-one interviews. And again, we thank you all for your support. Thank you again to Jason Mims and, of course, Bob Warming. Have a great day.